Hello, it's July 7th, 2022, and this is the weekly Backdrop Developers Meeting. We get together every week to talk about development and problems that are facing the Backdrop CMS project. Before we get started, I'll do some introductions. My name is Nate Lampton. I'm calling from Oakland, California, and I'm a core committer for the Backdrop project. We'll go to Robert and then Joseph.
I'm Robert Lang, bug folder on the internet, coming to you from Altadena, California.
Joseph and then Tim.
Hi, I'm Joseph. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Thanks, Joseph. Tim, and then if you're available, Gogu.
I am Tim Erickson. I'm St. Paul Tim, and on the internet, and I am coming to you from Deerwood, Minnesota. That's it.
Thanks, Tim.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Gogo, and I'm calling in from Nigeria. I'm just Gogo on the internet.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Gogo. All right, welcome everyone. We don't have Jen here today, who normally does the project updates. I think there's one new contrib module that was released in the past week, user email display module, that looks like it was written by RG Piano. So thank you for the new contrib module, Alejandro. There we go. Let's see. In the forum, we request topics for discussion during these development calls. And there was one comment left this past week by Peter, BW Panda, about the Software Freedom Conservancy, which is the fiscal sponsor for Backdrop. And I think we're still working on getting our trademark transferred over to them. That they basically provide some financial services to act as a nonprofit to accept donations through, and then they in turn support mostly GPL-driven software, which is kind of by some people's perspective, like the purest version of quote open source and free software. And Backdrop falls into that category of being a GPL-driven project. Well, the Software Freedom Conservancy also wages a number of other more visible projects, or no, they have their own, what's the right word? Challenges that they take on. And most recently, this past week, they made some waves heavily criticizing GitHub, particularly around GitHub's new AI for automatically writing code for you that I think it's called like Code Assist or Copilot. Copilot, yeah. That you can basically like it will read your code and then suggest massive swaths of like, hey, it looks like you're trying to do this, and then just suggests a whole swath of code for you to implement. And the chief criticism here is that this is essentially a lifting of other open source projects, all of the open source projects that are on GitHub, leveraging their code without any kind of accreditation, which is a massive problem for GPL software, which is entirely driven by copyright laws. And so if you're removing attribution, you're removing the license effectively from this code. And so that's a really big problem for open source software and GPL in particular. So that's the crux of my understanding of the problem, but there's a very long blog post that they've written that enumerates other problems potentially with GitHub. The way that it impacts us, first of all, is that the Software Freedom Conservancy made a public request that member projects, such as ourselves, stop using GitHub or have a plan to transition away from GitHub. And for new projects that are trying to apply under the Software Freedom Conservancy fiscal umbrella, they will either require you not be on GitHub or have a plan to move off of GitHub in order for your application to proceed. So we're already a member project. There's no requirement that we even have a plan. There's just the request that we look into it as a consideration. This is a big topic, and I don't think that it's something that we'll cover in depth right now. However, we do have Backdrop Live coming up in just about a week. This would be a really excellent topic. It would also be great. It wouldn't surprise me if we could manage to get someone from the Software Freedom Conservancy to come and talk with us about that topic at that time. Yeah, it's really, it's a really big topic. Anyone have anything else they'd like to say on that besides me? Just I'm not sure if I provided the full context of the article, but anyone else that's familiar with it have anything to say?
I'd just add one fun fact, which is we have over 900 projects on GitHub.
Oh yeah, because we're not just talking about core. We've got our entire contrib world also on GitHub. Right. Yeah. There's a huge technical hurdle there. I mean, we've done a number of things that do integration, like our packager and the project pages. A lot of things are all tied off of GitHub right now.
Yeah. Big portions of our custom code on backdropcms.org also use GitHub APIs as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I think that when we started Backdrop, it was 2013. It was 9 years ago. It's kind of funny because GitHub wasn't quite the juggernaut that they are today. It was trending in the direction of becoming de facto at that time. They also were independent. They weren't owned by Microsoft at the time. But the alternatives were not very good. And now, it's a completely different world now where there's lots of different alternatives and choices. So yeah, there's definitely, it's a possibility, but it would take a huge amount of effort. All right. Let's see. I think I'll leave the crux of that conversation for Backdrop Live because it is a really heavy and interesting topic. Let's see. We also got joined by Luke. I'm not sure if you're available, Luke, for doing an introduction, but welcome to the meeting.
Hi.
Just want to say your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Luke McCormick. I'm calling from San Ramon, California.
Excellent. Thanks, Luke. Anything you'd like to bring up today?
No, I've just been, as you know, kind of out of the loop for a while. So checking back in on the loop.
Okay, awesome. Well, welcome. All right, let's see. Okay, well, let's go into a little bit of a status update here on Backdrop itself. We'll start with 122.1. Jesus, that is the next bug fix release. And of this, we've already got 13 merged issues, and we're working on getting in a critical fix for contexts. Layout contexts aren't assigned properly sometimes when using relationships. We have a pull request that is ready to go, and when we get that merged, it would be a good candidate for us making the next bug fix release. But there's also a good dozen or more RTBC issues that would also, we can get all of these things in, I think, before making the release. I don't have any critical bug fixes to bring up other than that one. Does anyone have any other special interests? No? Okay. Okay. Well, the really exciting news this week that I wanted to talk about is in the 123 space, our next minor version that will be coming out in September. Issue 1301 The add a reference module to core is RTBC and has been for over a week now. I've been collecting approvals effectively from all relevant parties. I've asked the leadership team, including all the core committers and PMC members, like, if you have any concerns about this, now is the time to speak. And we've gotten nothing but approvals from every person that has responded. So that's great. I think that this is definitely the way to go. Recapping just where that actually landed. So 1301, add a reference module to core. We settled in on effectively moving wholesale the entity reference module from contrib directly into core, with the same pattern that we've applied for other contrib to core module transitions, including informing the user there's now 2 copies of the module, you should remove your old one. It's on the status report that there's 2 copies of the module. All of those things that we've done for other modules that have moved into core, like link and email and other modules that have just fully moved the whole code base in. So that's very exciting. We do have some follow-up issues already to pull in some of the latest fixes from the contrib module to start working on what to do with term reference that is inside of taxonomy module. And we have a big upgrade task ahead of us to try to figure out, like, how can we help the people or the users of node reference and user reference and the just reference module, which is a generic reference that is a competitor to entity reference. But the good news is entity reference is our most popular module already, so we're helping the largest number of users make a smooth transition. And we're helping all new users with the certainty of which reference module should they use, because they should use the one that is in core. So very excited about that. I expect it to be merged, barring any like large opposition, probably by the weekend. So prior to Backdrop Live. Tim and I were discussing before the meeting, we're also going to have a session at Backdrop Live about entity reference, recapping how we got here, and then talking about what our next steps are for that module being in core. Okay, let's see, other issues. Tim is the advocate for issue 4569, allow an admin to hide the title on comments. Tim, you had a quick update on that issue?
Sure, I can go pretty quick. We had 2 things left to do, one of which is to add some new tests. We had to not only fix some broken tests, but we're sort of adding a new feature. And Jen and I worked on that yesterday. And I think we have, so quickly, our assumption is pretty much that the current test currently Drupal or Backdrop provides the option between custom or auto-generated titles. And there was a test that basically tested those 2 things. So we added a 3rd test, which tests to make sure that there's no title if hidden titles is selected. If anybody can think of anything else that needs to be tested, let me know. But that task should be done. I haven't pushed it up yet. There's one other task, which is just an upgrade path for the existing Drupal or the existing Backdrop contrib module that does the same thing. So we think that adding an upgrade path for that should be pretty easy. And I just haven't got to it yet. So hopefully we're really close to getting this one merged or getting it RTBC. That's it.
Okay, that's excellent. Let's see, Jen also has the field group functionality in core, issue 647. I don't think I've heard anything about that this past week. And it's been unclear if this put vertical tabs on the user account page. It's kind of been moving back and forth, but Peter re-rolled the pull request for this issue 3872, to continue cleaning up the user account page. It does look really good. That issue currently needs review, needs code review, but it has been marked works for me. So it's seems to be moving forward quickly. Yeah, it's funny. We start late and then I blitz through the entire agenda and then we finish early. Yeah, but those are the main topics that I've got for today. Does anyone want to bring up something or talk about any issue?
Well, I suppose I'd be remiss if we didn't at least remind everybody about Backdrop Live a week from tomorrow. Registrations are probably just a little bit behind where I'd like to see them right now. So if you haven't registered yet and plan to attend, please sign up. If you are able to help us out with some social media buzz, right now is like the sweet spot. It's a week before the event. A lot of people are reluctant to commit to an event like this 2 or 3 weeks in advance, but we're right in that sweet spot where I think people would be ready to make a decision whether or not they can participate if we remind them. So please help us get the word out. At the very minimum, retweet or reshare the posts that we already have on social media. But please, even better is create some fresh content. Comment on or, make your own announcement about Backdrop Live. That's going to have more of an impact than just retweeting what we've done. So I think that's the biggest thing right now. The other thing is topics. We need more topics on the schedule. You can schedule topics as late as the day of the event. So I understand some people are waiting till the last minute to schedule their topics, but the sooner we get some more topics up, that also helps with registrations because people come, they look at the schedule and they want to see, what kind of things are being talked about. So if you have topic ideas you want to get on the schedule, you can just pick a time slot and tell us when you want it, and we'll help you get it on the schedule. I think that's just about it. Although, Nate, I think we could go ahead and announce our latest topic, couldn't we, right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Also, right prior to this meeting, we've decided to, Nate has agreed to help facilitate a discussion on, we're calling Should Backdrop Be Drupal Classic? And this is intended to be a very vague and open topic, I think. The purpose is to just get some attention to a lot of the people who are concerned about the future of Drupal 7, where it's going and what role Backdrop plays in it. And we're not the topic is, I think, not intended to propose any specific outcome. It's intended to start a conversation. Is that correct, Nate?
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Okay. So, and we're hoping that this topic will generate a little bit of buzz and PR. The official, Gogo is just asking about the official hashtag for Backdrop Live. It's Backdrop Live. Hashtag Backdrop Live. Although, to be honest, I think I don't hashtag everything with that. I do the Twitter account for Jen and I do most of the Twitter stuff. And I don't always use Backdrop Live hashtag. The other important hashtag is just Backdrop CMS. It's really important that you not just do Backdrop because that will get lost. Backdrop is a super common word in Twitter, and nobody will ever find us if they use Backdrop. But if you use Backdrop CMS, one word, that will help filter us out. So yeah, use one or both of those hashtags, Backdrop CMS or Backdrop Live. And when we do Backdrop Live, we drop the CMS. So it's just Backdrop Live. Okay. Any other questions? Some people have very strongly advocated that we hashtag more of our content with Drupal. And I'll just throw that out for another idea. I try not to do it all the time, but certainly whenever I think it's appropriate, which is often, I do throw in the hashtag Drupal because our audience very much overlaps with the Drupal audience. So that's something else to consider.
Yep. Excellent. Okay.
Yep, that's it.
All right. I think that we have done it then. That's all for this week. I'm very, very excited about Entity Reference. Sorry, that's where all my attention is. Yeah, I think that'll just be huge. But once it's in, then we can spread our attention out, to other tasks and follow-ups. So, all right. Well, let's conclude for today. Really appreciate everyone being here. We've got one more meeting before Backdrop Live. It'll be the day before, so next meeting on the 14th, and then Backdrop Live starts the day afterwards on July 15th. And that's it. Thanks, everybody. See you all on the internet.
Thank you. I'm